Okay. Okay. I'm not getting the names, but let's see. Okay, first one. I'm seeing two responses. Okay, one has given 50-50. So let's see. You have an idea to build a mobile application that can help people learn your native language. Dash is the fastest way for you to validate the idea in the market. Okay, what should be the right answer?
Ashok,
Yeah, what is the right answer?
minimum viable product.
Is it all of the above?
Uh, no, it's actually minimum viable product. We discussed in the first class.
Okay, okay, sure. Like, I was not.
See, the thing is that why minimum viable product is that, see, survey, what the survey means, you are doing a survey asking them what is exactly needed in the market. It's not like that what you want to build it. You are just doing a survey. Prototype means that you have to get the proper approvals, you have to build the product from the scratch, everything, and then you will release into the market, which takes a time. Minimum viable product is that with the minimum features, just with the minimum features you will introduce into the market based on the users experience and their feedback. We will start versioning it, we will start developing the product according to their needs going forward. This is the best idea when we go into the market, which we don't know how the market works out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Ashok.
Okay, which of the following is the role of the developer team during the implementation stages of this DLC? So what is the right answer?
Writing the code and committing changes in repositories.
Repository.
Yeah, that's right. Because here gathering software requirement is from the product owners, deploying on the production server is for the infrastructure team, and monitoring CPU usage is also on the infra team. But writing code and committing changes in the repository is for the development team. That's right. Okay. Waterfall model is a,
Okay, I gave a sequential method of software development.
yeah, that's right. Because why it is a sequential, one phase completes, then only it goes to the second phase. It is not like that it's a parallel. So it's sequential method of software development. That's right. Which of the following OS is not based on Linux?
Windows.
Yeah, that's right. It's a normal easy answer. Which of the following is the core of the Linux operating system?
Kernel.
Okay, why kernel?
Kernel is the heart of Linux.
Part of yeah.
Okay, that's right. Okay, now which are the following statements true? More than one option may be correct. I have seen both. Some people has given two and one has given one. So, okay, tell me the options.
First is correct. And in Linux, files are stored in the tree-like structure.
Okay.
I have given first answer, Ashok.
I've given
Because,
second too.
see, two options. More than one option may be correct means it's two options, not only one. So first one is correct for both of you. Second one, see, root user cannot access. See, root users have all the access in the system. If you are a root user, you can access anything in Linux system, anything, any file. There is nothing he or she, the root user, can't stop seeing any file. So this is wrong. In Linux, root is denoted by star. No, root is always denoted by the forward slash.
Forward slash.
Okay. In Linux, a regular account can be used for browsing the internet. That's right. Because in Linux, if a regular account means when the account installation is going on, along with the root user, a regular account will be created where the user can be used on the Linux, where he can access the system. On top of it, he can access the web browser or anything. So this in one is a correct option. So it will be 1 and 4.
Okay.
I think in the PPT which I have given, it is there, right?
PPT we have not yet received, Ashok.
We didn't receive the PPT. I mean, the
I
class
have
was
given,
not recorded.
I have given to Sultana on that day itself. I have shared it to her to share it with you.
Uh,
Okay, let me talk to her. Okay, by using which of the following commands can you directly move to your parent directory?
CD.
CD double dot.
Why CD?
CD is a chain directory. It will be the main thing. Will
No, see,
CD double dot is to go back.
yes, that is the reason I'm asking which of the following terms can you directly move to your parent directory. Means once you are in suppose like consider you are in here, like you are in home folder, and after that you are in A folder. After that you are in a B folder. Suppose if you give CD, you have to mention the path. Means CD is a just change directory. It will not change anything until you give something to it. If you give double slash, it will directly go into your home folder,
Yes.
because that way the CD double slash works. If you give CD, where is it? This one, it will directly go to the root directory.
Root directory.
So this is a basic difference. Okay. So the D option is the right one, CD. Okay, what is the function of chmod command?
It is used to change the access mode.
Use the access mode of the file.
Yeah, that's right. It is used to change the access mode of the file. That's right, because chmod is actually the mentioning. Okay, which of the following is needed to access a web page?
All of the above.
All of the above.
That's right, servers, client, and because you should have the servers, you should have the client, and you should have internet service provided to access the web page. That's right. Okay, IPv4 uses 32-bit. What is IPv6? Number of bits will use?
128.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I think you missed it here one and here two, 3 questions in the top 10. Okay, that's 70%. That's still good. No issues. Cool. So like this means whenever I'm not even take a class, I'll just give some assignments so that you'll be able to understand and everything. Let me talk with Sultana, because I actually have given her to give you all the, maybe I'm not sure why she has not given it. Do one thing, send me your mail addresses to me. Okay.
Okay.
So that I will directly share it with you only. No issues on that. You can directly share your mail addresses to me in the chat or WhatsApp, not here. So that I will share the PPTs, because I think I have here on the drive itself. See, have kept it. Just make sure to you have all the links. So okay, just give me the just give me your things. I'll just do it. Okay. Okay, let's start. So whatever we have discussed on I think Tuesday, you have everything. What is the IP address? What is the MAC address? You have all the details, right? You remember it.
Yes.
Do I have to go over through it again once again?
Not necessary, Ashok.
Sure, right?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, so MAC address is a physical address, IP address is a logical address. That's, you know that. So that's amazing basic differences. So that how many IP tables you gonna get, how many the ranges you are going to get the IPv4 and everything. So that's fine. So let's move on. Okay, now going through the class. Okay, now consider that now we always talk that there is a the hell? Now suppose consider that here is a computer. Pardon me, because my drawing is very bad. Okay, now here is a computer. Now we are telling that if if any computer, if any computer wants to talk, which means if there are two computers beside one by one, like consider, just let me do a thing. Computer one And here, computer 2. So it should be a protocol, right? Means the computer 1 has to communicate with the computer 2 over the internet. How? Because when we are saying that we are sending the data from our system to other side, from one server to other side, in any way, there should be a protocol. Means once if this computer is talking to this computer, how it is talking, how way it is communicating with each other over the internet. So that process is called OSI model. OSI model helps us to connect the computers to different devices over the internet. Means there are some regulations and some standard protocols where if computer 1 has to communicate with the computer 2, it should follow these protocols to communicate that, to transfer the data from computer 1 to computer 2. So now suppose, have you ever thought of, we have Windows and there is a Mac and there is a Linux. Have you ever thought Windows machine, how the Windows machine is able to talk to a Mac phones or Mac systems, and how the Mac systems are able to talk to the Linux or maybe the Windows to Linux? Have you ever have thought that how exactly this works out? Means this is a different OS, this is a different OS, and this is also a different OS. But without any issue, when we are accessing over the internet, we didn't feel that okay, we are using the Windows, we are using Linux. No, but when we are using it, we don't feel that we are on a different OS. But when we are using the internet, we don't have any issues. How? Have you ever thought of it?
No idea, Ashok.
See, as I said, these all these OS systems, all these servers or maybe these operating systems follow a standard protocol to talk to another OS through a standard protocol. Means they follow some protocols where these machines can be talked each other over internet without having any issue. See, right now, suppose I'm just giving you an example. I have learned English from my childhood. Means the set of grammar, the how the verbs, the pronouns, nouns, how the English language works out. And you also have learned the same language. Means you have also learned the English in the set of, means how exactly the English has to be spoken, the alphabet, the pronouns, the nouns, and how the parts of speech works out. And when I'm talking you are able to understand very easily, because whatever I'm speaking, you are able to understand because you know this language correctly, right? Because I'm speaking, you are able to learn. If I start speaking on my regional language, will you be able to understand?
No, definitely not.
Because it's a universal language. Means once you learn something, means if it has been learned by both the systems, means we have also learned and you also learned, because the communication is very free. If I'm started speaking French, you will not be able to understand because you have not learned French. Because suppose you are speaking Germany, I'm not understanding anything because I don't know Germany. So that way, the way of communicating between both the two persons or maybe two systems, there should be a set of rules where if we are talking to another person, we have to talk, we have to communicate very easily without having any issue. So there is a universal language like English. They in the systems also, we have set a protocol where a set of rules governs the exchange of information very easily and very reliable. So that actually called as OSI models, where we will be talking about how the OSI models have the protocols, where each layer differentiates how exactly the data is transferred from one layer to another layer, how exactly goes through, how these protocols helps us making our life easier when the data is transferred. Like when we are talking in English, because we have learned from our childhood, the same way the system, the voice and everything, the servers have learned this. Means they have this protocol set. Excuse me.
Yes, sure.
No, someone was saying something.
No.
Okay, that's fine. So these are all the systems, means these OS systems, to talk to each other, to communicate between each other, and to transfer the data between each other, they have set some rules, some protocols. So these protocols are set through a system called OSI models, how this works out while connecting through machines, some regulations. We'll be talking about this more. Any doubts up to now?
No, sure. Carry on.
Okay. Now, before going, I will just give a PPT. See, as I mentioned, what are these network protocols? See, as I mentioned, these are set of rules, specify how to transmit the data and receive the data over the network devices, means exchange of information in a very easy and reliable way, and in most securely, because you have to do it because the data has to be secured. So that way it has been mentioned, means it designs, it helps you to communicate a standard network protocols with each other, breaks extensive process, means you have, means whatever in the back end happens, you don't have to worry. You just need that. Suppose if a person has sent a message to you, the other person has to receive it. How the back end process, we don't know, because end of the day, if you are sending a WhatsApp message, we see that a single tick means we consider that okay, the message has not yet been delivered. When we see double tick, we says okay, the message has been delivered. And when we see blue tick, we said okay, he has read the message. So have you ever thought how exactly the backend works out, means when we are sending the data, how he's informing is, means once he has received, and we are also getting the response whether he has read, whether it has been delivered or not. So how is exactly working? Because a standard protocol has been following this. If with the network protocol, we will be able to understand how exactly this works out, what exactly works out, and through different layers. So this is called a network protocol, means how exactly this works out, and they help to communicate between each other. And very means if you're sending a video, very high volume video, means it is having a lot, as you know, means in WhatsApp, that the data gets compromised, means the quality gets compromised, because if you are sending a video of more than 1 GB, you will not be able to send it, because it allows you to send only up to 20 MB or 200 MB. So that kind of a data when you are sending it, so it has some protocols, means I will be able to handle this much only, I will not be able to go this more than this. So that way it is understanding, okay, how much data has to be transferred, how much it has to be done, how much layer, means each layer. Before understanding layer, why I'm saying layer, because OSI model has 7 layers. I will explaining in the next PPT how exactly it works out. But I'm just telling you how exactly it works out. When it is going through each protocols, means each layer has different protocols, and it has to follow that protocol when it has transferring the data from one source host to the destination host. This it works out. Suppose you consider that if I am not able to, like I'm given an example of a two person talking to each other in English. Now consider that if the English is not there, if there is no language of communication at all, so how you think the other person will be communicating with the other one?
Maybe through sign language or through writing and showing it to other person.
Yeah. For that also, the other person should also know that, right? See, if you are teaching a language, means if your language is there, how the other person will be able to understand, means suppose if you learned anything, means I'm saying you have learned everything, but the other person doesn't know anything, how we are going to communicate with him?
By explaining the based on with the what he has to know, that one.
As I said, see, that is called a set of rules, means if I'm talking in English, you are able to understand easily, because we have learned English based on our, because we have thought this is a language we have to learn because this is useful for us going forward, so we have learned it. See, everyone whoever wants to talk in regional languages, not wants to go, mean suppose I don't know Tamil. If I speak, if you speak in Tamil, I will not be able to understand, because we have not, because the regional, they have mentioned, okay, for this region, okay, they will be able to learn this one. But if you have to go to the worldwide and you have to learn everything, so they mention it English is the global language, so we have to learn it. So we have learned it because of the set of grammar, because everything. So if you talk anyone, they will be able to understand, because they know that this is a global language, they have learned it. So the same way, If one system is talking to other one, if the Windows is talking to Mac, or Mac is talking to Linux, or Linux is talking directly to Windows, so these are all have they are different OS, but they are able to talk to each other. How? With a set of standard protocols where the set of rules governs them. Where, okay, this system has been talking to, well, they are different OS, but still they are talking to each other and they're able to transfer the data easily. They don't have any issue in between because they follow standard protocols. If this protocol is not there in between, if there is no language of communication, means how they are not going to communicate, then it would be chaos, because we will not be able to, if the Windows is sending some different kind of data to Mac, it is not understanding in a different architecture, because it is a different architecture. It is not understanding what Windows is sending because it is having a different OS. But when the Windows is sending the data same to Mac, but it is able to easily understand and do it. So the protocol, that was the need of the protocol, because it helps to set the rules. Without this, the computers will not be able to talk over each other over the internet. It is not possible at all. You got my point, right? Whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. There'll be universal language.
Yeah, because for the computers, not for us, for the computers.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just explaining you in a layman language so that going forward you will be able to understand easily why it is a need of it. So OSI is the Open Systems Interconnection Model. I will explain you going forward. So here, as I'm saying, see, these network protocol suites are structured using protocol stacks, collection of series of layers. So each layer existing both send and receive the signals from both servers. So it's the same thing. I want to discuss one thing. Okay. As I mentioned over the WhatsApp about the protocols for the message acknowledgement and data compression. See, as I mentioned in WhatsApp, when you are sending the data, when you are sending a message, you are getting the response also. It's a message acknowledgement, means when you're sending it, you need to know, because in going before internet, means we used to just send the data. We didn't know whether the person has read it or it has been delivered or not. We didn't have any, but the message acknowledgement is there right now, because it has been said. Okay, if you are sending the message, so you have to acknowledge, means you have to get the response that, okay, this message has been delivered to him. He has read it. It has not been gone to. And data compression means when you are using Instagram, YouTube, or maybe Facebook, or any website, if you will be loading lots of images, videos, and in Instagram there are not kind of reels. When you're loading it, if you see lot of data gets compromised, because that much data has to be compressed and it has to send to you. So when it is transferring, means within seconds you are seeing one. When suppose in YouTube, when you are loading a video, you will see you change the resolutions, 10804p, 214, 214, and 720, 144. Because when you are changing it, the data gets modified. Means you want that much good quality. So these are the data compressed where compression happens and it works out. Means if you wanted to send it very less, so it will give you that much only. If you wanted more quality and very good, it takes time and it will give you. So that is a network protocol where these are for the message acknowledgements and the data compression, because it has to send the data over the internet to you. You are getting my point, right?
Yes, sure.
Whatever I'm saying.
Yes, sure.
So as I mentioned, protocols help computers to identify themselves on the net, and see the packets, means when they are sending the data, they send the data in through packets. So how the packet format and the type of size of the packets, that will be understanding going further. And these protocols helps you where the error occurs, and how and they also help you how to handle that error. So going forward, I will explain you. Let me give you an example, a simple example. Suppose I am saying language, just leave it. So if you want to travel from Delhi to from Bangalore to Delhi, okay. So from Bangalore to Delhi, you want to travel. So what you have done is that you went through an airport. You booked a flight. So you went to the airport first, and after that you have got your ticket. Means don't consider the code protocol right now. Just consider that you want to get the ticket. You want to take a ticket. And after that, you have to do the baggage scan. And after that baggage scan, the baggage scan has been done and it has been given to the baggage people. They were taking it. And after that, you are going through a security check. And the security check has been completed and you boarded the plane. And the plane has been dropped you to Delhi. This process where you want to travel from one place to another place and you are following a system. You have entered the airport, you got your ticket. Okay, let me explain you in here. It's easy for you also. Entered the airport, get tickets, baggage scan, security check, boarding the plane. So when you are doing it, so when you are traveling from Bangalore to Delhi, so it's the same process, right? So when you are traveling through flight, so you go through the airport first. So it is the first process. And if you are after board entering the airport, you will get your ticket through the ticket counter or from somewhere. And then you do the baggage scan, whatever the bag you have to take it with along with you. And once the baggage scan has been done, you go through a security check where they will check for the whatever you're carrying. And after that, you will board the plane. Now consider that these are all set of a rules. Means if you have to travel through air to the aeroplane and you have to travel from Bangalore to Delhi, you have to follow these rules because these are all set of rules set by the aviation because they want to travel you through like this because it has been set. Now consider that you have entered the airport, someone is already boarding the plane, so it doesn't have anything with you. Now suppose you got an issue at the place of get tickets, but the people who are already have the tickets and who are already done the baggage scan, security check, boarding plane, they don't have any issues here. Suppose someone is having issue at the boarding plane, but that doesn't mean that entering the airport and getting the tickets, baggage scan, security check, these are all have, because these layers are been like this where if one layer is having an issue, doesn't mean that the the top of the layers or maybe the below layers will affect. No, it will be having, because the process where it is traveling, it will be traveled through this and it will get stuck here, but at the meantime it will be solved. And if this layer is having the issue, but the data is already sent where it is processed in these layers, it will not have any issue because it's already been processed. The data which is coming, it will not be having an issue until it comes to here. So each layer has its own purpose, so that way it doesn't have any issue when if you have having any issues on in any layer. You got what I'm saying, right?
Yes, Ashok. Yes, got you.
So see, this is a universal, means if you go to any airplane, means any airport, anything. So this is a standard protocol. If you go to Bangalore, if you go to Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, anywhere, it is the same protocol, right? You will enter, you will get your tickets, you will do a baggage scan, security check, boarding the plane. It's the same process anywhere in all over the world. It is the same process. It doesn't change anything. So the same way here also we have the OSI model also been set like that, where if it is having, this is a setted model where, okay, you have to enter it, you have to get your tickets, you have to do a baggage scan, you have to do a security check, you have to board the plane. This is a layered architecture, like the way where it has been, each layer means like each step has been mentioned as a layer, where means suppose hundreds of people, thousands of people entering the airport, and thousands of people are getting the tickets, thousands of people are doing the baggage scan, thousands of people are going for the security check, and thousands of people are boarding the plane. Means it's a number of people coming in a single time, but they are able to handle it. How? Because they are mentioning each one, means they are dividing each way, means sending the people when they are entering it, they are making the path easier, so that okay, once they commit, they are making it very easy, means the 1,000 people, but they are consuming only one person at a time, means okay, this person has entered, okay, that's fine, he will get it a ticket and he will go, because all are not going to same location, right? They are going to different locations. So but end of the day, they are able to handle in the one single go. Means the implementation of the services at each layers, entering the airport and getting the tickets, they have made it very easy. The implementation is very easy when it's compared to other processes. Any doubt?
No, sure.
No,
Carry
sure.
on.
So now we will go to the OSI model. Okay, let me open a new one. I'm saying OSI. What is this OSI? OSI. OSI model, or we can also call it as OSI layer. It is actually called as Open System Interconnection. Open System Interconnection. This is called OSI. Now OSI has 7 modules. How it works out is that one is physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer. The other one was transport, so that it will be session layer. It will be presentation layer, and after that it will be application layer. So these are all the 7 layers where we will be talking about it, and I will be explaining what are these layers. Okay, let me go through PPT once. Okay, we have done on this. Okay, that's the same thing. It has been mentioned. See, this is in the if you see the pic. See, a specific layer on one machine sends receives exactly the same object that another machine's peer process sensor receives. So it's the same parallel way. Means one, it is a parallel process. Like I said, when the data has been already processed, it is going through the, as a person, when we go through the airline system, when one person is doing the ticket, the other person is already going through the baggage scan. The other person may be going to the security check. The other person may be going to the boarding the plane, and the other person already left the airport. So that way it's a parallel structure, means once if it is having one issue, doesn't mean that if it is has been broken here, the person which has already been gone, they don't have issue. The person who is coming to the first place, he doesn't have any issue until this will be resolved in the meantime. So that's the process of this network protocols, where it helps you how exactly we can work it out, and structure a series of layers parallelly. It will be working it out. Any questions?
So
Yes.
these 7 layers are like they are between the network, is it? Like it is in the network, like when two systems communicate, or any two packets transfer, a packet should transfer all go through all these layers, is it? Like is it?
Yes, I will explain. I will explain that. You will be able to understand going forward.
Because you are narrating it with the airport, no? So like what are which in see in airport it is the customers or the passengers who go through all those sections of like the things they go through, but in these 7 layers, what will go through these things? That was my question.
The data means, suppose if you are sending a message,
Okay.
I'm just giving an example. You are sending a WhatsApp message. Consider any message you are sending it, or maybe you are sending an email.
Okay.
Have you heard that when you are sending an email through Gmail or maybe your Outlook or anything, if you are sending to other person, he will be receiving it. Have you thought what will be the backend process when you are sending this one? It's how exactly it goes on,
Yes.
how exactly it works on. Means when you're sending email through a email app, and how exactly the other person will be receiving it. So what exactly the backend process works out means when you are sending it directly, you say you will just send it within 1 second, he will be receiving that mail.
Yes.
So, but what will be the backend of how exactly the data is transferred from your phone to the other person's email, same app, to that device, how it is going through it from the source host to the destination node, how it is getting actually transferred. That backend process is actually defined through a OS model. That OS model is this one, where how the data gets transferred one by one, how exactly it works out, and how we transfer the data. That I will be explaining. I will be mentioning how. See, this is just a going into the DevOps. You just need to know how exactly the network works out. You need to just have a basic idea. You don't need to understand what is physical layer. You should know from A to Z. No, you just need to understand how exactly the data transfers from one device to other device. You just have the basic knowledge so that going forward, when I say something suddenly, I say DNS, or maybe the port number, or maybe I will say transport layer. You should know these protocols. Means if going for means if you are not even in DevOps in any software company, or maybe you are as a developer or maybe a tester anywhere, but it's a day-to-day life, we are actually using these things. We should know means how exactly it works out. But the people who doesn't want to work out means the layman's where who the people like other ones who are not IT or maybe other ones, so they don't want to know. But if you are working in IT and you just have a curiosity, how exactly it works. Have you ever thought, when I'm sending the data within a second, it is going on, it is going through the internet only, but how the internet is actually working out when it's sending the data from my device to other person's device? It's a basic concepts where we will be just discussing how exactly the network works out, how the network is actually designed by for us, so that many engineers making our life very easy. Before there was 2G, then 3G, now it's 4G, now the 5G is coming. But the data, when it is getting transferred in 2G, we used to send one message, we have to wait a long time. Now we can't wait for 1 second to load the YouTube video also. See, it has been like that. Means we transferring the data with that speed, how we are actually working out, how we are actually making it happen with that speed. So how this is the network, how it works out. Means I'm just explaining the process in the back end. I'm just giving an example. So you got my point, Punit?
Yes, Ashok. Yes, Ashok.
Okay. So now see, the OSM model is a 7-layer concept where physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport session, presentation, application layer. See, this is an overview. Means this picture is just an overview. Means whatever I explain, if you just read this image, that's enough for you. You don't have to go anywhere. Just this image is enough. But I will be explaining you each one and everything how exactly it works or how it exactly takes it. Let me I'll give you an example. Now, just I said about the email, right? With that example only, we'll go and we'll be discussing. So suppose Puneet sent an email to Yashwant. Okay. Now, Puneet sent an email to Yashwant. So how Puneet sent email? He sent an email in a human readable form, right? So the first thing is that I will be explaining. I'm just giving an example. After that, I will explain all the 7 things with the clear cut what exactly how exactly works out. So now, when first thing is that this application. Okay, before here, let me explain you this one. See, just take this. Keep it a overview. I will explain very further in that example only. So the application layer is the human computer interaction. Means this is the one where we will able to see it, not the Chrome browser, Edge browser. These the application which we are seeing. Not that's not called application layer. The application layer is the one which actually the protocols sends the data, which actually works out how the file transfer, the web browser to send the emails. These are all the application layer where it has that protocols to access the network services. So that is called application layer. The presentation layer is that where it ensures the data is in a usable format and it is encrypted, so that it should not be decompressed. Translation of data means from the human readable form to the binary, or maybe from binary to the human readable form. That I will explain going into the example. And the data compression, how exactly the lossy, lossless, and the encryption means if you are sending the data, it should be encrypted. It should not be read by any other person in between, maybe in the over the network or maybe over the internet. No one should read it. That's presentation. Session layer means when you are opening a session, means it is a session where it opens and closes the session. Means if you are sending it, it waits for the data to send, and once it has been done, it closes the session. Means here to here, once it there, it comes here, it opens it, and once it has been transferred to presentation, it closes the session. That's it. That's the main agenda of the session layer. Transport layer, this is the transport layer where it transmits the data from the using the transmission protocols from the top to the downside to the network layer. And the network layer decides the physical path, which path it should take when it is transferring the data from one network to another network. And the data link layer is defines the format of the data, means what should be the format of the data, how exactly, means the MAC address along with IP address, and the segments when the data has been divided into segments, how exactly works out. Physical layer is the one where when you are using your LAN cable, when it is coming to your home to the Wi-Fi and label, so that is actually called as physical layer, where it transmits the raw bit stream over the physical medium, means the cables and everything, means it directly comes to your system. This is called OSI model. I'm just giving an overview. I'll explain you one by one with the examples and going further. As I mentioned, Puneet sent an email. So he used an email to H1 to send it to H1. So now, just a minute. Okay, now see, now he has used an application layer where it has taken a packet, means it picked a protocol. It picked a protocol, means say that it took a protocol and said, okay, now Puneet has sent an email. This email has to be transferred to the H1. So from the source host to the destination host. So it has first the application layer transfers it to presentation layer, saying that, okay, now this is the data, you need to transfer it to the downside to H1, but it is not saying to do. So now what the presentation layer will do is that I'm just taking the synonym, just PL and like this. So if you have any doubt, just let me know. The PL will encrypt the data first, will encrypt the data and compress it, and will compress it and send it to session layer.
Sorry to interrupt, Ashok. Is it a bottom-up approach happening here, Ashok?
See, it goes two ways. Uh, suppose if it is application here, and after that it transfer the data to all the layers to the transport layer, and in the transport layer it goes to the physical layer, and in the physical layer it takes the data to bits and streams. Again it transfer the data and again goes back to the transport layer, and again it goes back to the application layer. Means it's a reverse way, means if you are sending the data from application to application layer to physical layer, and it done here, and again it goes over the network, and again it goes back from the physical layer to data link layer, network layer, and again to the application layer of H1. So it follows the process from application layer to
Ashok,
present.
like waterfall model, this is not a sequential approach, right?
See, you don't consider a waterfall model. That's a software development lifecycle.
No, no, no. The question was like after application layer completes, then only it will go to next layer.
Yes,
It is not like that,
yes,
right?
yes. Means application layer. See, as I mentioned, every layer means if you are transferring the data means it goes through this means if you are sending the mail, it goes through the application layer, and then it goes to presentation layer where the data is encrypted, and it opens a session to send the data. And once the data has been sent to the transport, it closes this session. And the transport layer uses the protocol to where it has to be sent. So it will be sent to the network layer. The network layer decides the physical path. Means if you are having 4 different paths to send the data to the H1, so it takes one path which is very easy and very fast. So it chooses that path. And once the network layer sends to data link layer, the data link layer defines the format of the data. Means the format means which IP address is there and how the data has to be sent. And once the data link layer has been sent to physical layer, the physical layer divides the data, means the lane cable or maybe the optical fiber, the electrical signals, means whatever the physical stream you are seeing, from there how the data is getting transferred. And from again it goes to your, see, suppose if you are using Wi-Fi, it goes to Wi-Fi means your physical layer again. So from there again it goes back to the data link layer, and from there again to the network layer, again to the transport, again to the session layer, again to the presentation layer, and again to the application layer where H1's app will be opened and he will be receiving that message to that mail. I will be explaining one by one and I will go to the example, so that way it will be easy for you to understand.
Yeah, it just like a postcard method, I think so, Ashok. Like,
Yeah, just like that only, but as I mentioned, so this is the OSI model which we prefer to work it out. So now suppose about the physical layer, this is the application layer. So where how it works out is that it is responsible for transferring of media, the physical layer. I'm just explaining the physical layer, the first one. It is responsible for media means different means of communication, not the images, videos. Different means of communication means suppose in the physical layer, if you are seeing, there will be n number of how your the data has been sending through electronic signals. So you are using copper wires, copper wires, optical fiber. Now recently we came radio waves. So this is the medium of communication. This is the medium of communication where copper wires uses the electronic signals to transfer the data. Optical fiber uses the light signals or the optical signals to transfer the data. Radio waves, the Wi-Fi which we are using, which transfers the data. This is the physical layer where it converts the stream into ones and zeros. Download. This is the communication mode where it transfers the data. That is called physical layer. In a simple example, as I mentioned. In this layer, physical equipment, including the data transfer, converts into bit stream, strings of zeros and ones. Oh, okay. And one thing means if they are using the OSI model, so all the OSI models means all the systems on the over the internet and everything, they have to be on a single convention. Means it should be distinguished. Means what is one and what is zero. Means what are the device you are using or using. So it should be using the same layer, and the physical layer is of the same thing. Where it is a bit stream, it transfers the data through bit stream using zeros and ones. So that way the physical layer has to be transferred. The data transfer will works out, means the medium of transferring of communication. It's the transfer of communication. Media means consider it as a communication in this physical layer. Got it? If you don't understand, let me know. I will be explaining again and again.
yeah.
No,
Clear, Ashok. It's
no. What about the other two? Because I'm saying only from one.
No, yeah, no, Ashok, I'm getting actually. Please continue.
Yashwant?
Yes, Ashok, you can continue.
Okay, so you got it right. This is the layer where it involves a data transfer, responsible for transferring of the data. That medium means different means of communications, where it transferred from the topmost layer, means it comes from the application to the physical. In the physical, the media means it converted into bits, into zeros and ones. The media will be of electronic signals, maybe the radio waves, or maybe the optical fibers, means light signals. and it will be transferred again back to the topmost layers. So that's how the physical layer works out. Now the data link layer. In the data link layer, we actually call the data link layer is the one where we actually frame it as frames. How the frames works is as that it will be having the IP addresses of both the systems where the data needs to be transferred, IP addresses. Along with it, it will be having a segment where the data which needs to be sent, and after along with it, it should have it will be having a tail where it will be data will be transferred, and of it will be also having a MAC address to which platform the data needs to be sent. So these 4 points is called as frames. These involving the IP1 and IP2 means the host and the destination provider of both the IP addresses and the data which needs to be sent, and the tail part means what is the data exactly, how it needs to go on, and the MAC address means the MAC address of the receiver. So this will be framed as frames in the data link layer. So this access the media, controls how the media needs to be accessed, and it flows the flow control and error detection. So this is the way how the data link layer works out. Means it takes the means now suppose you are sending from the host, it takes the host IP1 and to the destination IP2, and what's the data? The data will be divided into the segments, and that segment along with it how the data needs to be transferred to the tail, and the MAC address where the physical the manufacturer of the physical address of the manufacturer device of that IP address. So this way the frames will send the data. The data link layer will be working on as a frames. Here we will be getting the data into data packets and we will be making it into frames like this, and we'll be sending back to the physical layer and to the top to the network layer. Any questions about the data link? Let me go to the PPT so that you will be able to see it. See here, as I mentioned, this layer facilitates data transfer between two layers on the same network. It takes packets from the network layer and breaks them down into frames. The frame which I have mentioned, responsible for flow control and error control in intra-communication. Let me know if you understand the data link, how exactly the frame we have been captured.
Ashok, the data link layer will take the packets and make it into frames, is it?
Yes.
Okay. It will send it to which layer? It will take the data from network layer and pass it on to physical layer.
And the same way it goes from when it's coming from the downside, from the receiver side. So it takes from the physical layer, makes it to frames, and it will send it to the network layer.
Okay. Like
So
a courier kind of.
yes, the vice versa. As I said, see, these 7 layers work as a vice versa. When the data has been sent, they will work in a one way. When the data has been receiving, it will send it. It will work in a different way. Means the frames where the segments has been worked out. So when it is going to the network layer, again, when it is going back, it will be sent it as segments only. So that the network layer takes the segments, and again it goes to the transportation where the segmentations will be chunked into different kind of data. And from the data, it opens the session into session layer, and it transfers the data to the presentation layer. Presentation layer encrypts the data and presents to the application layer to in a human readable form. And the application layer takes it and it will present you to on your application.
Yes. Yes, Ashok.
It's a vice versa. Means the 7 layers works as vice versa. Means sending side one side and receiving side is one side. Same way only, but it's the same on a different devices.
Yes. Got it, Ashok. Please continue.
Okay, now the another one was network layer. So in network layer, how exactly is that? The data comes from the transport layer. So it will be divided into segments. And here, how exactly it works out is that suppose you have a system here, host. and another host is there. So the data which it is transferring from here to here, it will transfer through packets. So this layer will work it out as packets when it is transferring the data from the transport layer. The transport layer will send it to the segments, and the segment will be converted into packets in a network layer, and it will be sent from one layer to another system, means from one system to another, means to the downside. So here actually how it works out is that logical addressing, as I mentioned, the logical addressing is the IP addresses of the systems will come into the picture, the path determination and routing. So what is the path determination is that suppose if you have a person O here and a person B here. So now if you want to transfer from this machine to this machine, the data is passing like this. Okay, let me go through it, small nodes. So now if you see it, there is a host machine where it is transferring the data like this. Now it will determine from which path it should, means it is taking this path, means consider this as A and consider this as B. Now when the data transfer is happened, the path has been mentioned, means it has to travel path like this 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe it can transfer from that path from A to B like 1, 2. So it can take this path or maybe to this path. It will be decided by the network layer how the path needs to be, which path it should take it, and how much fast it should go from path A to path B. So which path it should take, whether it has to take a long route or maybe it has to take a short route. That will be decided in the network layer. How? Because it will be having both the IP addresses of this system. So based on that, it will be deciding how exactly the data needs to be transferred from here to here. How exactly it works out. So the logical addressing means if you will are having both the IP addresses, and along with it, it will determine the path determination. So how exactly the data needs to be transferred. Any questions?
No, Ashok.
No, sure.
Okay. Then we will go to the transportation layer. So in the transportation layer, here it is coming into the segment packets, right? So here the packets, when it is coming to the network layer, the transportation layer sends the data through segments, means largest segments. Segmentation will be happening here, where the segmentation, how the segmentation works out is that segmentation, flow control, and one other one was error control. So how exactly this works out is that segmentation means a large chunk of data, means high chunk of data. It will be divided, means the data is like this, and again it is having big data. It has been divided into different parts. And again it is taking small parts here. So this way means a huge data has been divided into segments where it will be forwarding to the port numbers, and the sequence number. Means how the port numbers, this port means all the three will be the same, the port number, sequence number. The port number is used to connect to the correct application, means how, for which application the data needs to be sent. That will be decided on the port number. The sequence number is used to connect the particular segments together to form a bigger data packet. Means this one has been segmented into the huge data packets, and this will be divided into small chunks, and it will be sent to the different port numbers where how the data needs to be sent, and this sequence number will decide how the data means have to be a form a different data packet, and it will be sent through segments to the network layer. And the flow control, error control is to be decided by transport layer, means what should be the flow and how it exactly works out. Here it will be there. Here. I think we have not read this one, so let me read you for your network layer. So responsible for facilitating data between two different networks. It breaks down into the segments into small units called packets on the sender's device. It then reassembles the packets into segments on the receiver's device. As I said, vice versa. It finds the best physical path for the data to reach its destination, and this process is known as routing. Routing I will explain you in the next class, because you have to understand this basic, so that again, if I go on the routing and subnetting, that will be a big thing. We have to take one class for that. This is called network layer. I think we have already explained, but I'm still asking, is there any questions on the network layer?
No, sure.
So now when we are talking about the yes.
No, Ashok, actually, network layer will find a better path for the packets to reach to the destination. Transport
Yes.
layer will dismantle larger packets into smaller units, and then it will distribute, right?
Yes, that's right. Means transport layer is the heart of the OSI. Means it will says, means when it is going down to the one, it is making sure, because it is connecting to the session, and it is connected to the network. So it is the end-to-end communication between the two devices. Means if this layer is not present, you will not be able to transfer the data at all.
In the PPT, it says, like, in the network layer, it says the network layer breaks down the segments. Next page. Yeah.
Okay.
It breaks down the segments into smaller units called packets on the sender's device.
Yes, see, as I mentioned, it breaks down, means I said vice versa, right? So here, when it is coming the data, means it is breaking that down into segments, into smaller units called packets. When it is going to the reverse, means it is breaking down the data, means the huge data into smaller data. It is here it is getting the segments, right? Here the data will be divided into segments first. In transport layer,
Got it, Ashok. Since it is both the ways. Okay, got it.
here it will be taking the data into, means here it will be getting into segments, but here it will be breaking down the data into segments in the transport layer. So that way it will be able to have it. And when it is going back to the transport layer to session layer, it reassembles the segments and sends the data to the receiving device.
Yes.
You got it?
Yes, Ashok. Yes, Ashok.
See, I will share the PPT. So I have clearly explained in the PPT, so that you don't have to go through it. See, you go through Google also, you will be able to get it. Means I'm pretty much sure no one would have been explained it this much clearly, because in the PPT which I have written.
Yes, Ashok.
So you can go through it. So it is responsible, as I mentioned, for flow control and control. So how exactly this works out is that I am just going to give an example to you. So if you have a mobile device, how the flow control works out. And it has been connected to server, means you are using Airtel and Jio Wi-Fi, and the Airtel and Jio, when you are they are sending the internet to you, they are also using a server, right? So suppose the server has 100 Mbps speed, and your mobile is only able to handle the speed of 20 Mbps when it is accessing the net. But the 100 Mbps speed is there from the cloud side, means to the Airtel. So as I see, we are using the 4G, 5G. So all the phones are not being given the 5G device, right? I'm just giving a basic example, just we are right now. So right now we are all using 4G, but only for some companies and some people they have given, in some location they have given the 5G, not for all the locations. Why? Because the flow control, means the 5G has a more speed, means when it sends the data with that speed, the device should be able to take that much speed first, the flow, how much data it needs to be taken. So in a basic example, in your phone, connect to a server, connect to a cloud and some other thing where it is sending the data. So but your phone is able to handle only 10 Mbps, but the server is able to handle 100. But once you upgraded your phone, it is able to take 50. So it's automatically, when you are using it, the backend process, the transport layer understands, okay, this device can handle more than this, so we can send the speed according to that. So I'm going to send you to 50. And it also understand when the phone is having only 10 Mbps, So it understands that, okay, this phone can't handle more than that. So just send only 10 Mbps. So that way works out. That is the way the flow control works out. Any questions?
No, sure.
And error control. About the error control, I don't know how many pages I'm just opening today. The error control is that suppose there are data you are sending continuously, and suddenly one is missing. Suddenly you feel that one is missing. Suppose you feel that one of the data is missing. So it feels that suddenly one of the data is getting missing, means the error control makes sure that it continuously automatic repeat request, means it continuously sends the request, and it finds out where exactly the path which it has been sent, where the data is been missing. Means if you are sending these many data files, it makes sure where in which path the data got missed. In which path the data got missed. So it is called as checksum, where it checks, it sends automatic repeat requests continuously to check where the error is exactly there, where it is been missing, to find out. That is the error control in transport layer. Any questions on error control?
Please repeat it once again, Ashok. I didn't get the whole thing.
When you are transferring the data, means when you are sending from the transport layer to the network layer, or maybe to the session layer, so it is sending the segments and it's sending the data, right? So when the data is getting transferred, it feels that something is missing. So the error, what this transport layer, the error control in the transport layer does is that it continuously sends the repeat request, means it continuously repeats the request continuous, so that to make sure where exactly the error is, to find out. And suppose if there are four paths where it has been four data where it has been sending. So in one of the data it is getting missed. So it sends the data continuously to check where exactly the data has been missed. So that's the reason of error control.
Yes, got it, Ashok.
And there are two protocols in transport layer where it decides how the data needs to be sent. So one is TCP, transmission control protocol, and other one is UDP, user datagram protocol. TCP is slow because it is a connected device connection, means it is acknowledgement, means when you are sending the data, you need when the receiver receives the data, it acknowledges. But UDP is connectionless, means it will not have any, when you sent it, where you have sent it, it will not have any what it is called, the proof. It will not have any acknowledgements at all. So just remember these names. Going forward, I'll explain TCP and UDP. Transmission control protocol, user datagram protocol. I think I have explained it here. No, I have not done. Okay. Any questions on this? This is connection. UDP is connectionless.
Yeah, continue, Ashok.
Okay. Next one is session layer. So the session layer, we have taken example of you remember Uber and Ola, right? Last class. You remember it?
Yes, Ashok.
So in the Uber Ola, we know that when we have to when we open the device, we have to get authentication and authorization, right? You remember it, right? Authentication,
Yes.
authorization.
Authorization.
So where if you are not authenticated, you will not be authorized, right?
Yes.
So if you are authenticated have you considered when you open the Ola and you want to transfer from one location to other location and you are doing it? So you have you are in your device, you have logged in, and when you are logged in, you have provided your credentials and it is authenticated. And once it is authenticated, it will be authorizing, okay, you can use the app, so that you can book your booking and you can go to that location. So that authentication means once you have logged in and you have authenticated and authorized, that time the session layer opens. Means once you are logged in, that is the time it opens the session. It opens the sessions and it keeps that session open until you book the uh, cab or anything, and it will be open until you complete the trip. So that is the session. Means open and close. Means once you are logged in and you are authenticated, authorized, it opens the sessions, and once you have completed the trip, it closes the session. That is a single session where it has been clearly kept it.
Yes.
So it's a simple logic, opening and closing of a session. That's it. It will not do anything. Any questions on this? Means it's a basic thing. Just I'm just explaining about the session.
No, Ashok, we could relate it to Ola exactly how it happens. Like the point where we start our journey and till we reach the destination.
Yeah, it's just open. Means once you are logged in into the Ola, it opens the session. Once you have closed it, that's it. It closes the session. Means the trip has been completed, it closes the session.
Yes, yes, got it.
So other one was presentation. Okay. In meanwhile, just go opening and closing communication between two devices. The time between the same way that I explained, the time between when the communication is open and closed is known as session. It is ensures that session stays open long enough to transfer all the data being exchanged. It synchronizes data transfer with checkpoints. So okay, now we go to the presentation layer. Presentation layer. So the presentation layer is of two things. First one is translation of data. How come I miss the spelling sometimes? Translation of data, and other one was data compression. Translation of data and data. So what this presentation layer is that it converts the human readable form, readable data to binary. It converts the human readable data to binary. It converts the data, the human readable data, or maybe the ASCII keys to binary, so that going forward, this translation of data works out. Means from the presentation layer to the downside to the session, from the session layer to the network layer. To translation of data, it happens here. And the data compression, as I mentioned, suppose data compression has two things. One is lossy, another one is lossless. Lossy is that when you send images through WhatsApp, or maybe the videos through WhatsApp, you get quality compressed images, or maybe quality compressed videos, right? Right.
Yes, Ashok.
The way you are saying it, you are not understand anything at all.
No, no.
You can.
Definitely, when we send high definition pictures or videos through WhatsApp, the clarity will definitely
Yes,
not.
so that happens here in because the WhatsApp uses a lossy kind of data compression. But when you use the same thing in Google Drive, the quality and the memory and size will be the same because it uses the lossless compression. So this is a difference between data compression of the loss and lossless. And the presentation layer also does one more thing, that is encryption, where it encrypts the data. When it is sending the data from the presentation layer to the session layer, it encrypts the data so that through an SSL protocol. SSL is a secure socket layer protocol. This it's just secure socket layer protocol where it takes the encryption of encrypting the data of human readable form into binary, and it encrypts the data. And once when it goes to receiver end, it only decrypts the data and it sends to the application layer, means vice versa. Any questions?
It encrypts and decrypts also, Ashok.
Yes, because when it is sending the data, it encrypts. When it is on the receiver side, it decrypts the data and gives to the application. See, when it is encrypting from the application layer to session layer, it encrypts because the data has to be encrypted. But when it is on the receiver side, if it doesn't encrypt, how will you be able to read it in the application layer? Means how will you be able to see the data? So that's the reason it decrypts when it is coming to the receiver side.
Ashok, when presentation layer is on the receiver end, then the data will already be encrypted by session layer.
No. The encryption data only, the session layer just opens and closes the session. It will not do anything.
Okay,
It
then
will not do anything. Here
then,
in presentation layer only the decryption happens.
yes, got it. When the present at the receiver end only, the presentation layer will decrypt it, right?
Yes.
Then who will be like the data will already be in the encrypted format. In which layer the data will get encrypted then?
From the sender's point of view, it will be done on the presentation layer only, and from the receiver's point of view also, it will be done on the presentation layer only.
Okay.
Because here only the encryption happens, here only the decryption happens.
Okay.
So, like, see, if you have presented here, the layer is responsible for preparing data used by the application layer. It translates the incoming data into a syntax that the application layer can understand. It adds encryption on the sender's end and it decodes the encryption on the receiver's end.
So here encryption is nothing but converting one form to another form now.
Yes,
It's like
because
that.
which can't be readed by any network in middle of any person. No one can read. So that way, it encrypts the data so that it should not be read by any person or maybe any network, any communication at all. And again, the same presentation layer only decodes it to the receiver side.
In same layer.
Yes, in the same layer.
Okay, got it. Just like a security things.
Yeah, as we said, lossy and lossless translation of data from the human readable form to binary and from binary to human readable form to the application layer when it is giving it.
Yeah, okay, got it, Ashok. Thank you.
Okay, and the last one is application layer. So the application layer is a one we actually use, means the web browsing, the files transfer, sending emails. These are all included on the application layer where it directly we interface with the user, means with us directly. Whatever the applications we are using, which relays on this layer to initiate communications. FTP is called. Okay, let me write it out so that. Application layer, which it will be having FTP, HTTP, okay, file transfer. Let me explain in the file transfer, web browsing, send emails. So here, if you see file transfer works in FTP, means the transformation of files will be done on the file transfer protocol. HTTPS, the web browsing which we are doing right now, which you are accessing anything, is done on the HTTP and HTTPS, and the emails which we are sending will be done on the SMTP. So these are all works on the Chrome applications, Edge, Spotify, Premium, whatever we are using. These will be the ones we on the back end on the application layer works out to transfer the files or maybe whatever we are doing, HTTP and HTTPS. I will be explaining the HTTP and HTTPS, how exactly this works out. So which relay on the applications when we are transferring the data. Any questions up to now?
So browser is here, whatever it is. It may be Chrome or Mozilla, anything.
Anything. Web browsing, anything. Edge, web, Chrome, Opera, UC browser, anything. Web browsing, just web browsing, that's it.
This HTTP and HTTP is mandatory, no, for all. In case if it is not there, sometimes we are finding that unsecured thing.
That I will explain. HTTP is unsecured. HTTPS is secured. HTTP is called Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Yeah.
And HTTPS is called Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured. So this is the main secured one where it encrypts the data. Means when it is means the session is encrypted. Once whatever we are using the HTTPS, it is encrypted. Means it will mainly used for the banks and the Amazon accounts, whatever we are using. So right now, if you see here also, so if I just go to youtube.com and suppose click on something, tell me something.
We hear that some of the things, if there is no lock symbol here, that is not secure. If it is lock symbol, that is secure thing. Like that we heard actually.
Here, if you see, I'm just seeing something HTTPS. So if this is the HTTPS is a secured one. This is the secured one where you will not be having any issues. But when you use HTTP will not work for all. It will be max. People will use HTTP very less. Where if you are using on your same system, only on your system, you are not accessing anything out of that server. So that way it works out. But HTTPS is the main thing which is a secured one. That I will explain when I go to the TCP/IP protocol. I will explain you.
Okay, sure.
Any questions on this up to now?
Ashok, can you please get back to that the PPT of the complete OSI model once? That picture which you had, yes. Now can you just brush up like how the data will transfer through all the layers?
Okay. Now give
at
me
one shot. I wanted to know it at one shot, like through the picture, Ashok.
Yeah, I'm just go through it only. So now I said Puneet sent an email to Yashwant, right? We will take that example and I will explain you right now. So now when you click on the Gmail app and you have sent a email message to, and that will pick a protocol. The application layer will pick a protocol and it will send the that it will pass the data to the presentation layer. Okay. Now the presentation layer will compress the data and it encrypts the data, means from the human readable form to binary, and it will send this data to the session layer. The session layer the session layer will initialize the communication, means which will open a session and then sends the data to the transport layer. Sends the data to transport layer. Okay. Up to now you're clear, right?
Yes, Ashok. Yes.
Yeah. Once in the transport layer, the data will, when the data hits to the transport layer, it will be segmented. Means it will be divided into segmentation. When the segmentation happens in the transport layer. I'm talking about sender's point of view. I will go to the receivers once in the back end. From the vice versa, I will do it. Okay. Segmented. So again, these segments will be broken into packets at the network rail once it hits the network layer. Okay.
Yes.
Which will further broken down into frames in the data link layer.
Yes. Got
okay.
it. Yes.
Then the frames, then these frames will be delivered to the PL. The PL through a physical medium, such as cables and afterwards, and converts into strings of ones and zeros, and keeps it. Okay. This is the sender's point of view.
Got it.
Now, from the receiver's point of view, once the email reaches the receiver's end, means through the receiver, through a same physical layer, such as cable and thing, the data, the same layers, but in opposite. First, the PL will convert the bit stream from ones and zeros into frames.
Yes.
Okay, and send this to data layer. The data layer, which will then reassemble the frames into packets for the network layer.
Yes.
The network layer will then make segments out of the packets for the transport layer.
Yes.
The transport layer, which will reassemble the segments into one piece of data.
Yes.
The data will then flow with the receiver session layer, means it will open a session, it will pass through the layer, and will pass it to the presentation layer. The presentation layer will then remove the compression and it decrypts the data and presents the human readable data to AL. Means the raw data to the AL. The AL then feed the human readable data to the email software. This is the flow from the sender's point of view and from the receiver's point of view.
Yes. Perfect,
You got it?
Yes, perfect, Ashok. Got it.
See, it's just a basic knowledge you just have to, because I think no one would ever teach you about this networking in any of the DevOps courses. If you go anywhere, I'm pretty much sure, because this is a basic. When I have started learning, no one has ever taught me. But when I have started learning, when they're saying this, how exactly this works out, I'm just understood and I've worked on it. So the way I'm just explaining you, it's a basic. You just need to have this knowledge. It is not compulsory that you should know this. You have to work on it. No, you just have that, because somewhere in future when you're working as a DevOps engineer, you face some issues. You need to understand where exactly it got broken, how exactly it works out.
Got it.
Because we be working on network layer and the data link layers only, because we will be seeing how the data is getting presented, how will be the developers and everyone will be working on the application layer side of it. So that way it works out.
Yes.
So
Ashok.
basic, you can understand it. Okay. So
Ashok.
yes.
So, sorry to interrupt. I shared one in the chat box image of OSI model.
Yeah, sure. It is very nice actually. I saw it. In a very nice picture.
So Puneet gets cleared with that.
Yeah, last time when I showed it to you on Google.
Next one.
Yeah, oh, this is actually good. So you can look at it, because it's actually very good. Means how exactly the sessions which works out, and what is the TCP/IP model, and the HTML doc network protocols. So this is actually good. Thank you, Ashwin.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, bro. It's a good.
No much.
Yeah, sure. Generally, this network is there be a big history of I think in the backend process.
Yes. See, as I said, for the layman, they don't care it. But when we are doing as IT people, as we are working on it, we just need to know at least what exactly the process is and how exactly this works out. So that
Yeah.
way it happens.
We studied this one during the BTech time actually. We are recalling it.
Okay, that's
A
good.
separate semester course is there for this actually for me that.
Okay, I am from mechanical, so I didn't know. So I did on the lab machine and everything. So sorry.
Yeah, really. Oh, it's a nice nice explanation actually. Generally, I thought that you were from computer science or electronics background. I thought that like that, but well, it's a really nice explanation about network thing. I think you've done a research about this. I think so.
I'm working on it, so I have to. Otherwise, they will not pay me, right?
Great. Even
Okay.
it's completely different platform to you that.
Okay. Let me another half an hour. So I'll extend another 30 minutes so that I'll just complete this TCP/IP model. How exactly this works out. So
Sure.
as I see in OSI model, we have 7 layers, right? So in the TCP/IP model is that the top 3 layers, means application, presentation, and session, will be considered as one. We'll make it as application layer, and the data link layer and the physical layer will be considered as one and will be made as a network access layer. The process is same process. Whatever that happens in the application, presentation, session layer, that will happen in the same application, but it will not be having 3 layers. It will combine in a single one, where it opens, it works out, it makes out. In the data link and physical, the same way. So this is a major difference between the TCP and IP OSI model. It uses the same reference, same logical model, but makes it a little concise version, means a very good version of TCP model, so that it will be divided into 4 components where it works out very easily. So this is, as you see in the picture, the same way I have explained it. It's the same process, nothing is different.
So 7-layer process is become as a 4-layer process.
In TCP, this is a OSI model, this is a TCP model. So now the systems what we use, the networks and right now we are using is actually the TCP models. Whatever we are using is the TCP models mainly.
Okay. So
These are
same
all the
process. That,
the same process, means as I said, the 3 they just modified into single versions, means the 3 ones, the presentation layer where it encrypts the data and it decrypts and to human readable form, and it opens the session. These are all made into one single one, that is application, just application layer. The transport layer is the same as transport layer only. The network layer is called as internet layer, and the data link layer and physical layer has been combined into one, and it is called as network layer. So if you go through this PPT also, I'm just mentioning this layer is a combination of the data link layer and physical layer of the OSI model. Hardware addressing and protocols present in layer allows physical transmission of data. It is the lowest layer of the TCP/IP model. It defines how the data should be sent physically through the network and responds to the transmission of data between 2 devices on the same network. The same process, it's no different. Just they made it to work for in easy understandable way.
okay.
This is a network layer, and in the internet layer we have 3 functionalities, 3 protocols. Means in the network, like we have in the transport layer the TCP/IP, right? In the internet there are 3 layers, 3 protocols. One is IP, other one is ICMP, and other one is ARP. How this works out is that IP is for the delivering packets from the source host to the destination node by looking at the IP addresses. ICMP is encapsulated with the IP datagrams and responsible for providing hosts with information about the network problems. And ARP is address resolution protocol, which finds the hardware address of the host known IP address, not the unknown IP address, of the host known IP address. This is the internet layer. See, if you just go through it, it's just I'm just explaining because it's the same process. They just mentioned it in a 4 model so that going forward they don't have to work on many more things. And the transport layer is the same as a transport layer is also called as host to host layer, where it is having the same TCP and UDP, which is known to error-free communications, and segmentation, which is a connection-oriented protocol, and UDP is connection. The same thing, no difference at all. It's the same thing only. They just made it as a 4 model just to make their life easier. That's it. And last one is application layer. It's the same thing. Now here, as I mentioned, HTTP is the same thing. Here is also the same. I'll explain the HTTP application layer about the HTTP, HTTPS, and the SSH. So just let me know if you have any questions on it. Same process, they just made into 4 models as done the diagram. Means all are silent, means what happened?
Yeah, continue.
No, if you are
Just
silent,
continue.
then something is wrong.
No, it can't be like that.
So any questions? Means as I mentioned, it's the same process, the TCP model just made it into a 4 thing. That's it. It's the same process. It works the same way. Means the data, how it is getting transferred, how it works, so it is the same thing.
Yep, got it.
So now I will explain about the HTTP and HTTPS and how exactly it works out. As I mentioned, HTTP is for the hypertext transfer protocol. HTTP is that hypertext transfer protocol secure. It is a World Wide Web where you manage between the communications between the web servers and servers. So this HTTP secure is the secured one, where it's a combination of HTTP and SSL, the secure circuit layer. where the browser needs to fill out the forms, means the banks and whatever you use to authenticate, which will be used on the HTTPS. SSH is a secure shell, means when you want to communicate to other server directly from there. So it has to be encrypted, means in between it should not have any other person looking into it. Suppose like how I mentioned is this. Suppose you are here and there is another person and you want to communicate from this server to this server through SSH. So this SSH makes this, when you are connecting from this server to this server, it makes this encryption, means this communication between these two servers, means in between when it's communicating from this server to this server, means when you log in from this server to this server, it makes this logging very encrypted. Before we used to have telnet where it was not encrypted, means anyone can see the data, anyone can see able to see the password also. But with the SSH, we will not be able to see how exactly it works out. Now, suppose if you have any WinSCP with you, see, this is a file transfer protocol. When you are connecting it to the, okay, here it is totally different. I will show you, means not right now because I don't want you to go further and make it problem. So one computer to other computer, when you want to connect, when you want to log in of the B computer from computer A, we will be using SSH. That going forward in Amazon, I will show you how to do that. It's a very easy process and you'll be able to understand. And other one was network NTP. So what is NTP? Is a network time protocol, means it is used to synchronize the clocks on our computer so that to one standard time, means it mainly used in the bank transactions. All over the worldwide, the time difference is there, right? Means everyone is having a different time zones. So it will synchronize the clocks on to one standard time, so that when we are doing any transaction or maybe on the server side, any transactions and anything, so it have a particular time period of that exact time. So if this server crash, means our server and the time on the server and the computer will be out of sync, means the server whatever we are having, so it will be synchronized the clocks on our computer to one standard time source, means when you are making the transaction and when you are watching time, so they use a particular time zone to make it work it out. That is NTP. Any questions on this?
No, Ashok, actually.
Okay, now I have some questions then. I will be able to see, or yeah, already seeing that. So let me know. Which of these layers is responsible for the creation of data frames in the OS models?
It is
Data link layer.
Yeah. Okay. Puneet said data link. What about the other two?
yes, data link layer, Ashok.
Okay. What about Naresh?
Yeah, the same, Ashok.
Okay. That's right. Data link layer. I have not kept the answer here because I'm just giving the PPT. Okay. Which of the following layers in the TCP/IP layer combine the functionality of application, session, and transport layers of the OSI model?
Application layer.
Okay. What about
Yes,
the other
Ashok.
two?
Yes, correct, Ashok.
Okay, that's right. Because in TCP/IP layer, we combine all the three and make it as an application layer. Okay. Now tell me, which of among the following is a function of address resolution protocol? If you want, I can go back and show you the address ARP also. Here it is. ARP stands for address resolution protocol, which find the hardware address of a host from known IP address.
IP
So
address.
based on that, you will be able to answer this.
Secure login remote computer.
No. Come on, think. Means it is mentioning it is ARP address resolution protocol.
Mapping of IP address.
IP address to MAC address.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Which layer interface?
Okay, which layer provides the interface for user interactions in the OS model? This is very easy for you.
Which layer provides the
Only one layer interacts with the user.
Yes. Application layer.
Okay, what about the other two?
First, application layer.
Okay, Puneet?
It is from the user end. It is, yes, application layer itself.
Okay, that's right. Application layer is the one. Which protocol is responsible for sending your mail across the network? I just
SMTP.
Okay.
Yes.
What about the other ones?
Yes, SM.
Okay. Electronic mail. Okay. I have. What is the full form of HTTP? This is very easy. I should.
Hypertext transfer protocol.
Okay. Up to now we have done it. Now I will take just 10 minutes. I will just explain one more thing. Okay. So now here we see this. Do you know what this is called? What this is called normally?
URL. Uniform resource.
Wow. Okay, tell me. Uniform.
Resource locator.
Okay. You know how does it work? You know how exactly it works out? How exactly means? I'm gonna explain it later. Means how does a website work? Means how does this HTTP YouTube link works? You have any idea?
It is an address which locates to that website.
Yes, that's right. So how you know how exactly means? Suppose you are on the YouTube now. Suppose I'm going through YouTube, just going through YouTube. Now I want to watch something. Now I want to watch something about the ASLink Smart Theory. So I'm just going through the ASLink Smart Theory. So now I'm seeing there are a lot of videos on this.
Yes.
So I'm going on the click. If you see the URL is getting changed on the top of it when you are seeing it, it is going through it. And when I'm clicking on something, it got changed. So do you know how it exactly works out? Means how exactly it is taking it?
Based on server IP address.
Sorry? Based on the
server IP address.
Yes, that's only the same thing is happening is that when you are accessing through a person means accessing the web pages, images, videos, you just go into a YouTube means whatever you are, and after that we are getting the tabs like this where we are seeing it means you are having multiple tabs. Like take an example. I'm just giving an example of Facebook. When you log into the Facebook, there will be having separate tabs for you like friends, photos. I don't know. I don't use Facebook, so I'm just asking you. It has been years I have seen. So photos, videos, your friends list, contacts, and messages. So once you click on one thing, means on the photos, it will go to the photo gallery where you will be having you posted your photos. So that will be there. Or maybe if you go to the friends, it will be showing all your friends list. Or maybe if you go to the messages, it will be messages what you have chatted with everyone. So this way, if you see it, so each means you are just going into the Facebook, but each time when you are logged in and you are clicking on one of the tabs, you are getting all the data of that tab, and again in the tab it will be sub tabs where for particular person, particular photos will be there, particular friends will be mentioned. So This is called URL, where if you want to have that particular, means if you want to see some particular photo, you don't have particular URL. You are going through the Facebook, you are going through the friends, and you are seeing it. But if you have that particular, means now if right now if I have seen this, if I have to watch this video, I'll just open it. So I've just open it and just click on that. So I'll go to this video which I want to see. See, I'm just directly gone through this video, because I'm directly, when I want to watch this video, I just have directly this URL. But if I don't have it, I will go through YouTube, I will search something, and I will find out where exactly it is there. It is in the Marvel Entertainment. I will open to the Marvel Entertainment website, to the page, and I will see in the videos where exactly this video is there, and I will click on that video. So this way, the URL which you are having is a totally different, and the one which you are doing is different. See, here if it is Marvel and videos, here it is directly watch, directly the link has been done. So that's the difference between the URL and what you are doing. So this is how the URL works. You got it right. So
Yes.
I will just explain how exactly it is there and how go on. Do you have any questions on this?
It basically locates the exact page where the location is.
Yeah, now I'm going to Google. Now Puneet wants to travel to, Puneet is in Delhi. Now he wants to travel to Bangalore. So Puneet has never been to Bangalore, and he never been to Bangalore, and he has he has to meet a person, and he has to go to his Zoom, and he knows this person, but he doesn't know his address. So the person B has been given address to Puneet, saying that okay, Puneet, you come to Belandur, and there is a ring road, and from the ring road there is a house number 24. So please visit. This is my address. So Puneet from Delhi, he wants to travel to Bangalore. So first, how he goes through it? He goes through Bangalore. He comes to Bangalore first. From Bangalore, he takes a airport bus. From there, he goes to Belandur. Maybe the KA4 or KA6, I think. So from there, he goes to Belandur. From Belandur, he takes another auto, goes to Ring Road, and from the Ring Road, he says that he just walks it because the house is nearby. So from Delhi to Bangalore, he traveled through a plane, and from there he traveled through bus, and from there again he traveled through auto, and from there he walked to that person's house. So that way he reached is the person's address, exact address of his home. So when you are working it the same way, when you want to watch something and you want to see something or want to see image, the same way the browser works out, means it goes through all this and it points you to that particular point where you want to see it. Means whether you are on the browser, it is traveling through all the pages and it is traveling through the IP and everything, and it's giving you the particular video. Means whatever in the YouTube or maybe the Amazon, Facebook and everything. So that is called URL, how the browser exactly works in the same way. You got my point?
Yes, Ashok.
Yes, yes, sir.
So this, how exactly is that HTTP and HTTPS is called as protocols, which will be decided, which will be on the server level, means what the server has been decided, whether it is to be HTTP and HTTPS. The www.youtube.com is the domain name, means the DNS, where it decides what should be the IP address of this domain name, youtube.com and everything. So that will be the domain name. And after this, for something, there will be port numbers, how exactly on the server on which port this youtube.com should be open. And after that, the path to that file, means whatever you want to watch or you want to see, path to that file. And after that, there will be some parameters where you want to search, means exactly what you are needed. And after that, the anchor, where exactly somewhere in the document, means if you want to search some file, come on, what was the file and something? Tell me some files, means where we can search something from the Wikipedia or maybe the WordPress. Come on, think.
TCP IP model.
That will come more. Suppose if you want to see, where is it? See this one. So it is going to docs.oracle.com and is changing the directory, and from there it is using some parameters, and from there it is opening the file path, and it is showing you something. So this is the way how the URL exactly works out. How exactly it is work. In the next session, I will explain you how what is means how does actually, now it's just a basic example. How does a website works? Means how exactly it is showing. Any questions on this? Means whatever you are having, any doubts?
No, sure.
Up to now, you are good with all the sessions, whatever I have discussed. Means basics of networking and introduction to DevOps and in the basics of Linux.
Yes, Ashok.
I will ask Sultana why she has not shared, because also I have shared some interview questions also, means it's just some basic questions where you can find out means it's my point of view how exactly we can say it. So but
Okay.
this can means it's no one will ask you, but still I'm just giving you because it will be easy for you to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, let me talk to her. Let me see. Any more means tomorrow at what time you will be free? Means based on that I will be deciding the class.
Morning, it's fine, Ashok.